So usually before I do anything like this, I will tone and I will tap. Toning is something I discovered how to do when my youngest daughter, we were having basically a conscious physical attunement experience happening. I could telepathically connect with her consciousness, but her physical vessel was having a different experience. And so for about 6 months, we were trying to bring the experiences together. And toning, I created this little tone that basically put us in our own frequency bubble.
Ooh,
and we were able to work better together.
All right, let's bubble
I
up.
like the sound of that.
Yeah.
All right, so is it hurt my ear? Will it hurt my ear?
It shouldn't, but I'm not going to go right into
I'm just going to plug my ear.
Okay.
And then do we do what you do?
If
Or do
you-
we just listen?
Just listen.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? That's it.
Oh. Well, that was kind of like my radio exercises.
Yeah.
We do the vowels.
Yeah.
But
that's actually
yours is
spiritual.
more of a voice thing. Ours is more of a mouth, so we can speak without slurring. So it's like, and we'll like do the alphabet like A B A B A B A B B C B C B C C D D E E E F E F E F F G.
I think it's from being a bartender. I had to learn how to project without yelling.
Bye, B.
Bye.
Go get a
Thank you.
tone.
Yeah, if you guys need anything, just yell out.
Okay,
We love you.
So I had to learn how to project across the room without yelling or screaming
Oh,
or
that's
ruining
me.
my voice because I had to do it, all day, every day, multiple days a week. So I had to learn how to project the sound out without straining my vocal cords. Yeah, it's like right down in here. So the A, E, I, O, and U and the Om is actually like a spiritual gamut that you go through and you connect them. So I can actually see the visual holographic layers of the experience. And there's been different moments where I have witnessed how that experience basically launched me into a frequency necessary to like skip some pretty scary shit and then be at top of it to be able to like rain down unconditional love over it. Basically like launched me through the whole thing. So
Wow. Okay. So with that said,
I think I need this.
this is going to be amazing. I want you to do your own introduction.
Yeah.
But we are the Chat Box, everybody.
Woo!
Coming to you from High Five Access Media. We are your mental health, I don't know, octopus, because we have all the arms for you to connect on something that might grab hold of you and give you the help that you need or the guidance that you're seeking. We have Jen Saito, myself, Liz Farron, and our special guest today is Torie Smith, who did the home. And so in 3, 2, 1, boom! Welcome to the Chat Box. Torie Smith, do me a favor.
Yes.
Give me your intro because you tried to tell it to me and I already forgot half
so
of it.
my name is Torie Smith, also known as the Empathic Gangster. And I am a channeler, spirit advisor, cosmic thought leader, motivational speaker, graphic artist, and author. And I specialize in divine cosmic consciousness and galactic attunement, which focuses on who we are galactically and what we are holographically.
Wow, you'd make a good auctioneer also. Just talk smack into the face.
Yes.
Okay. So, and tell myself and Jen what all that just meant.
Yes. So in 2018, I basically, like we were discussing earlier, source frequency basically came crashing into my bedroom and I started being bombarded with telepathic communication and it never stopped. So,
Explain when, because I heard this before.
yeah.
Perfectly normal functioning human being like you and myself.
I was a bartender forever. This was
So-
not my wheelhouse. I'd been into psychology my entire life. I've always been into self-discovery, self-reflection. My mom was into self-help when I was a kid. Went to my first self-help event at like 12 years old. So that was kind of like my wheelhouse.
You had like an intuition maybe, and you might have had some knowledge that most young people don't have as far as helping yourself with
So
things.
that night when
This is weird.
Okay, so that night after I put down the book, I finished the book, I put down the book, I need to use the restroom, and intuitively I was like called to look at my phone. And so I looked at my phone, and on my feed, there was this thing called a Latifa prayer. And it was supposed to open your chakra system up to the highest communication of the universe. I did the prayer, and went to the restroom, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the white wall, but I'm realizing I can see all the energy moving in the room in front of the wall.
Kind of like mushrooms without the mushrooms?
Kind of, yeah. No, I was completely dead sober.
Wow.
It was, yes.
Did it scare you?
Nothing scares me. I was raised by a sea captain.
Pirate!
I was raised by a pirate. And so I've just had a different life where, like, we don't think in fear. We think in tacticality. I'm also an athlete. I think in pivots.
So you don't have anxiety, obviously.
Not at all.
Wow.
No.
Kind
Yeah. I've experienced something like it before, and it was because someone gave me medication I didn't need, and that's a whole different story.
So I want to go back to you sitting in the bathroom, looking at a wall that's going into dimensions.
So as soon as I realized that I could see all of the energy in the room, all of a sudden, like, I'm having these conversations in my head and realizing that the energy is responding, like I'm communicating with it. And then I started downloading things and going through my life, realizing I've been able to see energy my whole life. I used to go up to the top of the mountain, and it was like I was tripping on acid because the frequency was so high.
Wow.
I could not, that was scary. I could not see the textures. I could not see, like, I would get to this point where I'm like, I don't even know how I'm going to get down this mountain, because it was like there was holographic stars in my vision.
That would scare me a little bit.
I worked at a casino multiple times, and I went through this back and forth, like, can I see? Can I not see? Do I need glasses? Do I need contacts? Do I have an astigmatism? Because I would be able to see clearly 95% of, my reality.
And you probably weren't sure what was happening at the time.
No, so when I was getting those downloads, I was going back to these very specific moments of when I was questioning myself throughout my life about my vision. And one of them was when I would work in a casino and there was a lot of people and a lot of energy happening with the games. It would get blurry because I was seeing all that energy in the air.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah. So everything just started coming together. And then it sounded like my ceiling came crashing into my bedroom. And that was a little spooky. I was like, what the hell is that? And I ran out, and I just started getting bombarded with telepathic communication.
Wow.
And I heard, we're coming, tell everyone we're coming, but it's not like you've been told it's going to be. And I was like, I go into like problem-solving puzzle mode. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Let me work backwards. What have we been told? So what is the antithesis of that? And
did you think they were aliens, or what did you think?
I just understood that it was source frequency, highest communication conversation.
You just knew?
It was just intuitive.
Wow.
But I did reach out to a spiritual blogger the next day.
Okay.
Because this was not my wheelhouse
Right.
at all. Like, this is not my wheelhouse at all.
That's so crazy.
So I
You
wanted
were picked.
I think it's encoded in my DNA after the last 8 years of going through this experience and realizing who I am galactically and what my seat number is within the experience.
Seat number? Does that mean we all have a time up? Hourglass!
The soul contracts definitely play into it.
Wow.
Concentrated entities that were here in the very beginning are here again. So there's a lot of organization to this experience. Every God particle, every grain of sand is accounted for.
So you had to probably reorganize your entire existence.
My entire
when
existence
this happened.
Like I said, I took almost 4 years off from work because this was my job now. I had to sit in channel, astral projecting, like meditating, writing, channel writing, doing art, listening, understanding. I had to disconnect from the internet because there was way too many narratives happening there and here. And then I had to craft a language. How do I articulate this? How do I share this? Thankfully, I'm also an artist. So being able to provide visual representation for the things that I cannot articulate is an option.
I wish you brought something.
Oh, I know.
I can show you stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I have a website. You can
Okay,
check it all
we'll
out.
get that out.
Yeah, of course. But the craziest part was that where it got to the point where, like, okay, this is really, really getting real, is I wanted to lay down as that was happening because it was a little much and I wanted to take it in. And I was guided to go tell my husband about it. And I was like, oh, fuck, dude.
I know her husband, too.
Is he going to judge me? Like, what is he going to say?
Dude,
Okay.
come on.
So I go down the hallway and I'm standing there. He's on his headset. He's talking to his friends. He's like, give me a second. And so I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, do I really need to tell him? Like, is this, how do I say this?
And what would you say? Oh my gosh.
Okay, exactly. That was a conversation I was having in my own head. And I hear clear as day, stop hesitating. We told you to tell him.
I would freak
And I was like, okay. And so he was like, what do you need to say? And I told him exactly what they said. We're coming, tell everyone we're coming. But it's not like we've been told it's going to be. And he placated me a little bit. And he's like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? And I was like, because I didn't have any more answers. You know, he's like, what does that mean? What is happening?
Mean? Who are they?
Exactly. I had no answers at this point.
Sounds like a movie.
But what I did say is, I'm not going back in that bedroom by myself. So I sat down next to him, and I sat there for about 2 minutes, and then the ceiling in the bedroom started come crashing down again, and I jumped up and I ran down the hallway, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, are you not hearing this? And so I knew that it was something that was going to be my experience. There was a baby sleeping right next door. She didn't wake up. And I get to the bedroom and they're like, we're not done talking to you yet. And I was like, okay, listen, I'm here for this. I'm open for this. But if you can knock it off with like kind of like the scary shit, that'd be great. It's not super helpful. And so I laid down an angel pose on my bed and I just allowed the information to ticker through my body. I would have thoughts and it would like, there's this intuitive feeling that I would get when the thought and the words were accurate, and then it would guide me back to like what was actually happening. So if it was inaccurate, I would get this feeling that would come back to accurate. And so it was basically teaching my body how to recognize source frequency accuracy in my channel experience I was about to have.
I have to say, I saw the movie The Entity, and I would be thinking something like that was happening to me, and I would crawl out of my own skin somehow.
6 or 7 experiences just as detailed and more detailed than that in the next 2 weeks. And it ended, it was super intense.
You were chosen, obviously, for something.
I think I was birthed for this because when I think about who I was as a child, I was never a child. I was born an adult, borderline teenager. There's things I like picked up where I left off in my last life. Like there's things, everything about my life feels so intentional and on purpose and a brick in the path to get from A to B. Nothing about my life is random. Not a single person wasn't intentional. Like every single part of my life feels constructed and intentional and encoded and meant to be.
Well, at least you don't get confused.
No, not really, no.
Or like don't need a calendar.
No, I feel like a designer. Like there's no right or wrong. I'm drawing it. I'm designing it.
Wow.
Like I'm deciding what it looks like.
Do you feel different than everybody else?
No, because I was raised human, so I don't know any different.
But I mean, the experience that you have, and now you can channel and things like that. Not that that's not your.
I feel different in a way that like. There's only a handful of people that are like, dude, I totally get what you're saying because my reality and how I function and what I see, like, that's wild.
Ooh, sorry. Careful about that wordage.
Yeah.
So when you went back to work and you had all of this newfound being, experience, knowledge, whatever you want to call it, it's a power, right?
It is a power, and I was super grateful. Like I said, my dad is a pirate, right? My dad's a sea captain. If you saw him, it's like Johnny Depp and him could be like brothers or like related or something. It's very wild.
So fun.
And then I have my husband, right, who's not having this experience. So I was always grounded in a language that was still the same as before this happened to me. So if I had been by myself, I might have been off in flowery la la land with my language.
Running around the roundabout with their boobs on fire or something.
But because I have my same environment and the same people and the same language happening throughout the experience, it was still relatable. When I went back to being a bartender, I'm still a bartender. You know what I mean? I listen different. I feel different. My wisdom is different. My responses are different. And my patience is different.
That's impressive because the weirdest thing is that the whole time that you've been telling me your story, you know how you get the divine tingles? I haven't been having the goosebumps. I've been like vibrating.
I love that.
Like all of my skin, little hairs. I mean, I'm like, even my butt cheeks. Like, I feel when I'm listening to what happened to you, I'm getting serious vibration, skin tingling things, and it's weird.
Well, and so that's the thing that I discovered is that I don't have to convince anyone of anything. First of all, it's my journey, and the sacredness of it and the specialness of it is that nobody else gets to experience it. But I'm not a teacher, right? I'm Torie. I'm a bartender. I'm a mom. Like, I have created a brand that allows me to show up and just be myself. And like we were talking about earlier, industry has made me provide labels for what I do and some clarification.
And let's do that.
In order for,
Let's actually do that. So, like people like Jen and I mean, I think it's powerful, and you're special that this happened to you. I don't think that it's in any way,
I've
shape,
always
or form.
been different, though.
Yeah, but that's okay. I
loved it. I always thought the difference about me was just a maturity or like being an old soul.
Oh yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah, so
I
I
feel
remember.
like a child sitting next to you.
So when I was 5 years old, I went to a barbecue with my dad, and I remember having the conscious conversation with myself that, wow, age does not equal maturity. Age does not equal intelligence.
At
Watching his friends. Yeah.
That's because they were probably a bunch of drunk idiots. Alrighty.
I mean, and that's the thing that's so funny, though, because here's another awareness that I had that inevitably made me feel different. It wasn't until I got into this experience that I started perceiving how different I was raised, because I forgot and did not ever consciously understand that not everyone was raised by my parents. So my parents are professionals in everything that they do. And I was raised surrounded by professionals and like top performing professionals. So I get out into the world and I'm perceiving all of humanity that way, with that level of competence and confidence. And people are telling me that people are stupid. And I'm like, I've never viewed people that way. So I was raised by competence and confidence. And so I view humanity that way, and I hold people.
Torie for president.
And I hold people at that level of like, because I didn't know any different.
That's
and
amazing.
People keep telling me, like people are stupid. I'm like, I've never had that experience.
So
But
what
I'm
was
also
it like
viewing
meeting
them
your
like
first
that.
stupid person?
To me, it's not stupidity; it's a maturity level.
I love you. Okay.
It is. It's a maturity
it's
level.
really sweet,
right?
yeah.
It really is. And I will tell you, because I have been a bartender for almost 20 years.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people. I've been a bartender for a long time when I was younger.
Okay.
And you
So
meet
the
everybody.
only time that it really, really like got under my skin was when I was pregnant, and I started I was getting pissed off, and my coworker was like, "Oh my God, you got fire in your eyes," and I realized I've had a lot of real talks with myself. I give myself therapy all the time. I said, Torie, this is not just your vessel anymore. You're sharing this vessel, and you need to change your perspective from being annoyed, which is clearly coming from judgment, and you're not a judgmental person, and shift it to humor and find this behavior funny and silly, because everybody's here just having a good time.
Right.
And their behavior is not worthy of judgment. If anything, this is what you're supposed to be doing, which is celebrating and enjoying life and goofing around and being silly with your friends. So, like, they're not doing anything wrong.
Right.
It's your perspective that needs to shift. And you have another person in your body who is being affected by this unnecessary anger. And it dissolved immediately.
That's impressive.
I
I wish there were more people like you out there, because I feel like we're in such a judgmental society right now.
It's a conversation I have on a daily basis. My mother, I grew up in the beauty shop, and rag mags were a thing, and it's one of my biggest pet peeves on this planet, that anybody thinks that they have the right to talk about somebody else's life or judge somebody else's choices.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, here's the thing. Becoming a channeler and a spirit advisor, every single human being is our galactic brother and sister. So you're out here judging your brothers and sisters, and you are stirring the pot. And like, don't get me started on the internet and how it's turned into a
I was going to
cesspool
say,
of
how
gossip.
do you, okay, because I want to get into the channeling thing.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
do some stuff. But, so if you have this mindset,
Yeah.
and then you are faced with everything that's the opposite of the way you see the way people should feel, live, and be, how do you,
That's not a thing, first of all.
what does that mean?
Because there's no such thing as should. Nobody should be doing
okay.
anything.
Oh,
Because everybody's
right,
living their
okay.
perfect experience, right? Everybody's
Okay.
growing. Everybody's on their
So then
perfect
how
journey.
do you deal with the people that feel like they have the right to judge?
Compassion, realizing that their maturity level has now gotten to a place of self-awareness where that shifts for them, and it comes down to galactic law. here's the thing.
What is galactic law?
I'm going to tell you, like, it's the laws that govern the universe, and when you understand them, when you live them, it changes your entire reality.
You said understand in something you wrote too.
Yes.
I thought you made a typo, but
Nope.
you're using that word a couple of times now. Understand.
Yes. So there's a difference between understanding and understanding. I can read a book about skydiving and I can understand it in the ins and outs, but until I jump out of that plane myself, I don't understand
I think
it at all.
that's important to know
like
too.
that.
Yeah, I don't talk about things I don't understand because that's
I
pointless.
understand you.
Yeah.
So the galactic universe, you got into it a little bit.
Okay, but so I
before
want
we
to answer your
started.
question.
Yes.
Okay, so the point is one of the biggest things that changed my life about understanding and understanding and living through galactic law is that all is neutral. Nothing means anything but the meaning we're choosing to provide it. Social programming and psychology tells you that this means this and that means that, and it does not. So when you go out into the world and they're expressing all of these things, I'm able to, that's their belief system. That doesn't make it accurate, doesn't make it true, but I understand now why they're having the experience they're experiencing, which i.e. that ends in compassion and understanding, because that's my brother and my sister, right? That's my bestie.
Wow, I don't know. I don't want to leave this room. I feel like I'm in such a nice bubble. I don't want to talk to anybody outside this room anymore.
So this is what I bring to the bar, right?
No pun intended.
No. So being a spirit advisor that pours spirits is very, very important to me. I grew up around 5 Indian reservations. A lot of my friends aren't with us anymore because we did not know how to consume properly. Thankfully for myself, I've always been a little Freud, and I utilized substances for self-reflection, self-expansion, self-discovery, self-awareness.
Like what kind of substances?
All kinds of substances. I have done more pixie dust in my life than I weigh.
What is pixie dust?
Any type of white powdery substance.
Anything that goes up the face.
Yeah, the fact that I still have a face is a miracle.
Hey, trust me, we've all been there.
Yes.
I mean, Jen's actually probably the best, the most angel-like person in
So
the
now
room.
here's the thing, right? Okay, so this is what I understood. Why do I have this experience and why do other people don't? Well, I've never judged myself while I've consumed. I've done it for funsies. I've done it because I got value out of it.
Right.
And then learning about the importance of encoding God particles and the frequency and the state of mind and the belief system while consumption is happening was like ding, 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 ding. So what people don't realize is our reality is a direct reflection of our belief system, right? So if you're consuming in judgment and shame, that's playing out in your body.
That makes a lot of sense because
Okay.
sometimes people, they take things too far.
They take things too far. There's narratives around it, and they're usually unconscious, right?
Yeah.
It's something. It's epigenetics. It's their environmental programming that they came up with. Everyone in my family is an athlete. Okay, my uncle is a personal trainer. My cousin's a downhill ski racer. My sister owns a gym. My dad works out 7 days a week. Everybody in my family is an athlete, and so I grew up in gyms. I worked in gyms during college. And I realized, and then I worked in restaurants, right? And so I'm like, I watch people who eat with the narrative and the belief system that they're fueling their bodies. And I also witness the bodies that eat judging themselves and shaming themselves. And let me tell you, you can see those playing out in those bodies.
Oh my God, that's so insane. So when you say the art of consumption, you're not just talking about illicit material. You're talking about food,
everything.
drink,
Yes.
even consuming
Religion, your
relief.
beliefs.
Oh,
Everything.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Good
So-
one.
So you got to remember. So it's conscious awareness, right? You can bless and encode anything. So blessing it when I fill my daughter's water up in her water bottle, I say I love you into it and then close it.
Aww.
You can put that into you when you cook. If I'm in a bad mood and I make my husband a sandwich,
He's like, crap.
He's like, I'm not eating that hate sandwich. Take that sandwich. I'm not eating that.
hate
Yeah, he's not. And so, the thing is I'll have these ideas and I don't share them with anyone until the universe shows me how true they are through humanity. So I had this conscious awareness and I went to work. I worked at a restaurant in the Vale Village, and I knew both chefs. The chef I started with, and I knew him for years, so I knew what he used to be like, and he was in a very aggravated state. He was not being himself. He was done. He was at his limit.
Most chefs are.
Okay. So they got a new guy in there. Both
Okay.
of them are my friends,
Yeah.
by the way. They got a new guy in there, but he's this young hippy dippy guy just bebopping around the kitchen, dancing, making food. And this restaurant has not changed their menu in 40 years. So I serve the food. And this guy goes, "Did you guys get a new menu?" And I said, "No, we just changed the energy of the chef."
Wow, isn't that insane? I think that's amazing though, because like a lot of times, like my husband cooks for me, and sometimes I go, "Wow, there's something different in there." He goes, "Well, aside from the love, I added cilantro or something."
So this happens all the
he
time
does
at the
that a
bar.
lot, and
All
I
the
don't think
time.
he even knows that he's manifesting.
It happens
anything.
all the time at the bar. The cocktail ingredients and recipe are the same, and people are like, "Oh, I love you so much. What do you put in it?" Unconditional love. And then they laugh, and I'm like, "I'm being
shook it
serious."
harder than
I'm
most.
being serious. But yeah,
That is so
they can
wild.
taste it.
So now, as far as when you say you channel,
Yes.
how does that work? Like, what do you channel? Energy.
So it happens in all different forms. Sometimes it's visual, sometimes it's audio. I can see different, like I said, I can see the holographic layers of the experience. It depends in the type of mood that I'm in, obviously, which i.e. equals frequency that I am in, and whether it's clear what wants to be presented. Is sometimes what I will tell you is that it is often beyond me. Is it something that I can sit down and do on purpose? Yes, but I have to be in a very like clear-headed. There has to be like nothing, no to-do list running in my mind, right? But for the most part, it's something that approaches me and is like, "This is happening now. You're sitting down, you're listening."
Wow.
Is it the same as like being able to see auras? Like if you're looking at a person and you're like, "Oh, like you're radiating like a frequency," or is
No, it's more
something inside of
it's
you that you
more
see?
energy, where auras is color. But you know that's also that is channeling in a way because you're receiving messages, right? If you're interpreting the color, there's a channel happening there.
I see.
But the thing is like the hardest part about this is that there is no book, right? Nobody else I know experiences this experience like I do. I'm not a medium. Can I hear both sides of the experience? Yeah, sometimes. But it's not something that happens on command. It's something that's like presenting itself in a specific moment.
Oh.
Am I psychic?
So wait, a medium is hearing both sides.
Channeling information from those who have passed.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then you're doing it like current.
I do it, but it's not something that
Not
like
you-
I have
you
control
call
over.
upon.
Yeah, it's not something that I have control. It's like, I can hear that, and then sometimes telepathic communication. It'll be like there's like I can feel and see a presence come into the room, and then I can hear their voice in my head. So like we're telepathically communicating. Whether they're consciously aware of that or not, I'm not quite sure. But I'm consciously aware of it, and I can hear them, and I can feel them, and I can see them. And the truth of the matter is I often see people's layered reality. So like I have a girlfriend, one of my best friends, she is Native American, and I see her as a mermaid all the time. I see that layer of her character, that layer of her vessel and of her avatar and of her holographic self.
Oh, I want to know what you see in us.
Yeah, do you have to know somebody to see them in a certain way?
I
or-
think it helps,
Yeah.
to be quite honest, because we've been best friends since like kindergarten.
Yeah.
And to like hear, there's certain people's voices that I hear that are real recognizable. But I'm still, because it's been so informational for me, I feel like I haven't really nailed my gifts.
Gotcha.
I would like to be able to turn them on and turn them off like that. And like utilize them, more like a switchboard or like
Right, or even to help somebody.
yes, more intentionally like that. So that's why I've taken the path that I've taken, which has been a little bit more informational and experiential as far as providing an experience. Also guiding people down the rabbit hole. A lot of people, because I know how profound it is to consume with intention of self-discovery, and I really encourage that. I think that it's and because I've gone down the rabbit hole many times, uncountable times, at one point I think I was dosing like 3 days a week, and it just kind of became a part of my essence. I'm like, I feel like I am LSD at this point. And I haven't done it in a really long time. That was like it was like right when I started channeling. And I realized, too, I got these downloads of like, part of the reason that you never judged yourself during consumption is because somewhere on an intuitive level, you knew that it wasn't you doing it. You were facilitating the experience. And that we were asking you to, and we were guiding you to. And I actually had that awareness. I was like, a lot of people like fiend and seek out this stuff, it kind of just falls in my lap. I don't even have to go anywhere. It just finds me. That's very different. What is happening
That's
here?
like me with trouble.
So I realized that everything about my experience was different. And I had to just open myself up to receiving that understanding of how it was serving me, how it was on purpose, how it was intentional. And that, I was going to get to it. I was not a talker the first half of my life. I was very much an observer. I was an artist. I said nothing. Music spoke for me, right? Like I was obsessed with music. Yeah. And I'm married to a DJ now, right? So, and I love to dance. And so finding my voice really came from being in the service industry and being forced to talk to people that you don't know. And then I fell in love with it. And I realized you could you could relate to every single human being on planet Earth. And I have great relationships with my grandmother and my grandparents and my parents friends, and then people my age. So I realized I had the capacity to relate to the whole gamut on the planet. And that was super exciting.
That is exciting, especially because you don't have that judgmental factor in your brain. So you're accepting of all people, no matter what they believe, what they think, what they see, how they look. It doesn't matter.
Well, and here's the thing, is that's the last thing that I notice about a human being.
Is what they look like?
Is what they look like. The physical vessel is the last thing that I see.
So if you were going to be a witness for the cops.
Yeah, they don't like me.
Well, he had a really dark aura.
No. So here's the thing. I notice sense of humor. Okay. I notice laugh. I notice personality. I notice heart. I notice character. And then the last thing that I notice is the physical attributes.
Okay. Well, that's important because the physical is just the outside portion of all the other things you just brought up.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I've seen all the different layers of this reality and realizing that on a very foundational level, it's an animated caricature. This vessel kind of looks like that caricature is definitely like playing through what this vessel looks like. And you can see that when you go out into the world and you're like, wow, that person kind of looks like this animal. And then if you were to like dive into who they are in a very foundational animated place, you would find that animal. It's very interesting.
Okay, I'm putting you on the spot. I am going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Take a look at my beautiful friend Jen.
Yes.
And whatever comes to your heart and what you feel,
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. What if you were to actually describe her as a certain animal, or what do you feel when you absorb her?
Are you absorbing me now?
Yes.
It's exciting. Should we hold hands?
No, we're not going to hold hands. We're going to put hands up, and I want you to try to breathe with me. We're going to get in sync and breathe together. So I can hear that animals do not define this character. She is angelic. And then I can see it's like a hallway and a doorway of energy that's trying to come forward. And really, really ironically, that the color that we picked today is very much that energetic color. Do you feel not grounded in this reality?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, say more. Say more.
So, I have a buddy, right? And he talks, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, you're like a tree in the forest somewhere that's been rooted into this reality for so many years. And it's like, I can only see him as this tree, right? And I can only see you as energy, like quantum, like that alive quantum filtered energy, and I have goosebumps.
I do too. I'm glad I'm wearing a padded bra right now.
Okay, so that's something that I did want to mention that I noticed was different that I never paid attention to, is my entire body is covered in constellations.
Oh, look!
My entire body.
You're galactic.
It's the entire thing. And one time, I touched one of my star marks, and I witnessed an entire fleet of vessels in capsules, attach themselves to whatever the orb is around my vessel. So I have cut off quite a few star marks when I was a kid because I didn't like the aesthetics. I had no idea they were actual planets that I was a part of, that my galactic family is attached to. And so I had a lot of explaining to do about why I cut them off. And they didn't realize I was a child. It wasn't on purpose. I didn't realize.
You weren't cutting, you were just...
No, I didn't realize that's what they were. So I had a past life regression, and I asked this lady, I'm like, dude, I am literally covered in constellations. Like, my body looks like the sky.
Wow.
And she was like, yeah, that's every place you've ever been. Those are star marks.
God,
That's
I
a
love
map
that.
to where where you've been. And so I started really playing around with that idea. Then I had that experience. Then I realized my youngest daughter and I have identical matching ones.
Wow.
And I'm not big into time, but I have, I'm always right on time, spot on.
Oh my God. Does
So
she have
she has the exact same one.
You don't have any solar system.
I definitely don't have any time ones.
So she has the exact same one, and we have the exact same one here that I had cut off when I was like a sophomore in high school. And so there's just so much little intricate things that we don't pay attention to. And it's really funny because I'm really into case studies and documentaries and perceiving other people's journeys, especially about business and artistry and being an entertainer. And at one point, it made me laugh. At one point, Victoria's Secret would never take a model that had markings. Like, 90s, early 2000s, type era. Yeah. And I was like, that's fascinating. But I wonder how powerful that is, because if you were to take a picture of somebody's body who had star markings and you shine that out on the world, what type of map is that like?
Right.
Everything is so reflectionary and is like giving a message.
So what was the message when you asked Jen if she was not grounded?
Because all I saw was energy, right?
Is that a good thing?
It's there's no such thing as good or bad. It's just that's very distinctive about who you are.
Yeah.
So your journey is going to be very specific, right? We have people who have incarnated and been here forever, and so their journey is about something different than what your experience is about. And it really reminds me of my mother. My mother is an earth angel. Like I know that she has had other experiences before she got here because I've watched them play out and I've done downloads about it, but they're very few. And so to me, you feel very fresh, like a fresh entity that's here to bring light. And because you come with a very pureness, right? Like I could never be that pure if I tried.
Man, please.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's very cute. It's inspiring. We need that. We need that variety. Yeah. We need that reflection.
That's why I hang out with you.
Yeah. We need that reflection, right? And I say this all the time. Some of my girlfriends, we grew up near the res and doing some pretty debaucherous stuff and doing whatever we wanted because we were pretty much adults, right out of the gate. All of us were. But there was somewhere I was I'm so glad that you were so pure and that you were the mother of the group. Aww. And you kept us on the rails, right? Yeah. I've ridden the rails of this life, and it was those reflections and that morality and that reflection and that purity and that innocence that really saved us all.
That's incredible. Now, I have a big question for you.
Yeah.
Having this mindset that you have, and it's obviously not something you can teach to people, but how do we put this out there in the field of energy so people can maybe take a step back and open their minds a little bit more and not be so judgmental and hateful and deciding what a person's like just because of what they look like? I mean, how do we get more of this?
I mean, there's a couple of... Okay. So first of all, I said I am not a teacher. However, I would love to share the different things that have, crossed my path. I say crossed my desk. There's a lot of things I've never seen before, but the things that crossed my desk changed my life and created this. And so I want to share those things that cross my desk. I have the Harmonic Living series that I'm creating. It's an ebook series that will then get to, I'm going to create a course around galactic attunement where we can deep dive into the spiritual laws that have changed how I perceive this reality. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest thing is realizing, A, we're all a part of the same living organism, okay? We're all a part of the same living organism. So you being a jerk to that guy is you being a jerk to yourself. Okay?
Wow.
And at the end of the day, everything is feeding back to itself. So every single human being in existence, every God particle in existence is just a sophisticated air vent for the universe to express herself through and to perceive herself through. And it's going back to the whole self, which is consciousness. And so realizing that the way you're treating somebody else, you're basically just talking shit to yourself, and realizing that that is your galactic brother and sister. We're all here together. That maturity level just makes you kind of look, like the jerk.
It's so interesting.
I love that because I think that also plays into the concept of karma and to energy transfer. When you think of
and karma. I've witnessed karma. So my girlfriend, she is a shaman in this reality. She does the whole thing. She does sweat lodges and goes to ceremony, and she does the whole thing. And her and I were pretty much she was going through her karmic experience as I was going through my channeling experience. And one day she called me and she was just at her wit's end. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And I just see this karmic scale come into my bedroom and she's talking to me and she is talking about this relationship she's in. And all I can see, I can see multiple layers. I can see the karmic scale. And as she's talking, I'm seeing it clear, right? She's paying it off. And then at the same time, I'm watching her walk through a desert in armor from a past reality with somebody's beheaded head in her hand, and but she's proud of herself, and it is she's in her warrior phase. And I just remember having this conversation with her, realizing she was talking it out, she was feeling it out, she was clearing her own cosmic scale. And I remember just being like, so when are you going to take the armor off?
Oh, so wow, so you actually helped her figure it out.
Well, and it's just, I'm just seeing it, and because she's fighting, right? She's that's what's happening here. That's in this conversation. It's a fight between him and her, and I'm like, when are you going to take the armor off?
Right.
When are you going to run around and,
fling his head around?
No, when are you going to run around and, skip in the daisies naked and be a different version of yourself? And when are you going to put the armor down? When are you going to stop being a fighter? When are you going to start receiving the reality that you want?
See, that's important because a lot of people go through a lot of crap in their lives.
Yeah.
And so they do have the armor, and there's something to be understood about self-protection.
Absolutely. There's so much about compassion that comes into that.
Yeah, but
sure.
also the self-protection armor that we all put up if we've got walls for a reason. I think you don't build a wall unless something came about in your experience
100%
that made you put that wall up.
You were born with that wall.
No.
And that's where compassion comes from, because, just because my wall was built out of something different doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the whole point of friendship is to help each other tear that wall down and then turn it into path that goes somewhere else.
Yeah, I like that.
I think what is impressing me most about you is the way that you are articulating. I feel like I felt a lot of the concepts and things that you've brought up, but the way that you've been able to articulate these feelings from your experiences and the energy in your interactions with people is absolutely incredible to me.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's super helpful to be an artist. I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
And I realized that it would be helpful if I could paint pictures.
Yes.
And the way I receive information is very visual. And so I want to, so this is why it's taken me so long to create what I'm creating, because there's a lot of intricate details that go into it.
Sure.
And I realized that the response I was getting in real life was phenomenal. And when I tried to show up like that on the internet, people were casting stones at me because they didn't know me.
Yeah.
They don't understand what more my heart's at.
And
They just hear the words.
They don't want to hear the power of positivity.
Well, and they couldn't
almost.
hear my tone of voice, right? They're just reading something. And so when I talk to you and you can hear my tone of voice and you can hear my inflection and you can hear the gravity that I legitimately care, like whether the advice or what I'm about to say is going to, go for the jugular or not, you know that it's not because I'm trying to be cruel. It's because that's how concise and like straightforward the universe is like, yeah, that's what you need to hear.
Do you ever feel like you could guide people with this gift that you have? Like you're obviously you're not a therapist, you're not any of those things, but do you ever feel like you could open yourself up to accepting people that needed
So that's what I want to create.
Okay. I think you should.
I have so many different interests.
Yeah.
It would definitely be a leg of my experience. I do have an honorary doctorate in advanced studies of psychology. So I write articles for magazines about consciousness. And one of the magazines that I happened to write for, I was a part of their Circle of Excellence one year. And they reached out to me. They have a university that's attached to their magazine. And they reached out to me and they said, hey, we think that based on, what you have contributed to humanity is worthy of an honorary doctorate.
Oh, that's so amazing.
So it is amazing. And the funny thing is my rebel spirit in the beginning was like, I don't need that piece of paper. No, thank you.
Yeah. But that ego side is like, yeah, I got the paper.
Well, it wasn't that actually.
No?
I sat with it for about a year and a half.
Oh.
And I talked to the universe about it. And you know what it said? It said, Torie, you live on planet Earth. And just because you don't care about that stuff doesn't mean it doesn't open doors. And why would you make your life harder than it has to be? It's a piece of paper.
Wow.
You don't have to hang it on your wall if you don't want to.
That's amazing. Whatever happened to you in the bedroom that night and in the bathroom and the creaky walls and everything, it made you somebody that can really take on pretty much anything in this life, and you can guide yourself through it, and you can help others get through it with your attitude.
I thank my parents for that. As a sea captain, when you seriously, look, just imagine this, okay? You've never sailed before. You teach yourself how, and then you go, "Hey, I'm going to sail you guys across the ocean in the middle of the night."
Wow.
Right? That's a lot of confidence.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
Especially because I don't have any direction or sense.
Self-taught. Like, that's a lot of confidence and competence.
Direction
that is
on the
what I
ocean
was
has gotta be
raised
hard.
by.
Okay.
This is my dad's confidence level, borderline's cocky, but he's not. He's very grounded. He's very, the way he runs his life, and he taught me about the value of friendship. Like, it's all about who you know and your relationships and, being able to count on each other and work together and pull things off. You can't do it by yourself, right? So, literally the energy and the attitude in the house I grew up in is we wake up and we piss excellence. That's what it was.
I hate to see what you poop. This is amazing, though. So you really did have a good beginning with your parents.
Because my mom is the opposite of that. My mom is very much into beauty and self-care and gardening the mind. And
so that's not vanity,
and creativity.
That's self-love.
Yeah. So she went through her own self-help journey when, I was a kid and a teenager. And I was an artist as a kid. And then when I was in high school, I was like, I don't want to play sports. I want to do art. I want to do drugs and boys. And my mom didn't know how to relate to that.
That's a whole different revelation than you had in the bathroom.
And she didn't know how to relate to that. She didn't know how to guide me. She stopped me in the hallway at 15, and she said, Torie, I don't know how to guide you. And I said, thank you for admitting that, because it's really, really pissing me off that you're pretending to guide me and pretending like you know what you're doing when you don't.
The fact that you noticed that at 15 is big,
and it put us on an even playing field. We could then be friends. We can move forward as friends now because you're not trying to BS me.
Gotcha.
And she...
It's amazing.
She sent me to therapy. I went to AA classes, and I got a personal masseuse, and I basically was grounded for a whole year in my senior year. Didn't have a car, didn't have a door, didn't have a phone, and I could go to therapy, I could go to AA, and I could do self-care. And
AA in high school, wow.
Yeah, before I went to college, I went to AA. And so when I got to therapy, the lady, I love her, Miss Penny. She was like, Torie, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need a creative outlet. you're an artist who's not arting.
Yeah.
And so the funny thing is up until that point, I was very much a black and white artist. I love Sharpie. And I've always been into kind of trippy art, psychedelics, you know.
Doing all those crazy lines combined.
Yeah. Well, I grew up around stoners, right? So like that was very much the like, you know, head shop type vibe. And
my parents owned a beanbag store.
No way.
I know.
So she's like, I want to give you an assignment. I want you to go home. I want you to go through magazines, and I want you to create a collage that represents you. And so I bring back this collage, and it is vibrant and it is colorful. Aww. And I'm like, I have never seen myself like that. I've never looked at myself like that. I've never expressed myself like that. And if you look at my art today, it's an evolution of that assignment.
Liz, we need to do that. I want to do that.
I want to do that. Can we do something like that together? What do you have to do?
Yeah.
You have to make a collage of.
So you just go. I go through
yourself?
magazines. Yeah, I collect magazines when I see like the imagery that I'm like, that's going to turn into something one day. And
I wish I was in your brain.
So I will show you some of my art, but I'm also a painter, painted since I was a kid. And then I went to a private art school, and I have a bachelor's degree in visual communications. So I learned how to do things
so much in one little package.
So I learned how to do things in a visual platform, right? And so now it's multimedia. So I will paint, and then I'll pull it into a digital platform, and then I'll create it into a collage that's multi-layered and of course ethereally inspired that can go with my writing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nuts. And I think everything about you is just all encompassing and wonderful. And the best part about it is it's all positivity, and it's a way to show all of us that you can go through life without fear and without feeling like people are talking about you or just not caring that people are talking about you.
It's just about knowing who you are. Every single person on the planet can tell you something and say something to you, but if you know who you are, well, who cares what the hell they just said?
Right, but then there are people that do get upset. What?
Well, so my question to you, when you're reading energy, like can you feel people's blockages? Can you sense like where they are stuck?
It's more of a narrative that comes through.
Interesting.
So there's the thing though, so there is a process that I've created that is more energetic that goes into that. It's basically, I would go into your energetic complex. Everybody has a complex inside them that is their own housing unit that they have personalized and created.
Mine's a condo.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, and sometimes to your point, like, well, I don't know if you made this point, but if you are sharing people, the energy that you see and receive or on somebody else, like, oh my gosh, I don't think any of those things about me, but like if you see that about me,
and here's the thing,
you share that,
I see people's magnificence.
Yeah.
But like I was telling you earlier, I have been seeing people at this level of competence that apparently they don't see themselves at.
Well,
and they didn't know.
Yeah.
That sounds
exactly. That's what I'm
more
saying.
normal than anything because most people don't have the confidence in themselves.
And I didn't know that. Every when I look at someone, I'm like, wow, they're an amazing this, they're an amazing that. Look at how good they are at this. I don't see any of the other stuff.
And they're thinking, man, why did I even get up today?
I was late. Damn it.
So I will tell. Okay, I want to share this with you, right? Because I was a bartender at the George for 10 years, and I am watching people. They are going hard at work. They are going hard on the mountain. They are going hard partying. And I'm like, are these people superhuman? How are they doing this? I'm impressed by how they go hard in every single
they play
arena.
hard, work hard, and party hard.
And party hard. And I'm like, God, I need to sleep, but they're not sleeping. Like, what are they?
Yeah.
They're superhuman.
That's what I always wondered about a lot of people out here because of the things that they pull off.
Impressed. And these people are possibly, I'm like not saying like any specifics, possibly judging themselves in their consumption.
Yeah.
And I'm I am impressed, sir.
No, believe me, more people when they consume it, whether it's like, let's say somebody who has to watch what they eat.
Yeah.
And then
that was my reality as a kid. I watched all of my girlfriends be able to eat whatever they wanted, and I felt like I had to watch every single thing.
And then you're judging yourself when you do decide to eat a Hostess cupcake.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What I realized in the long run is I taught myself how to have self-awareness since the beginning. So I watched a lot of those girls go from being able to eat whatever they want without thinking about it to them becoming in their 20s, and then they didn't know what happened to their body.
Yeah.
But because I had conscious awareness since the very beginning, I had longevity and sustainability.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, I was starved as a kid because my sister was overweight, so we would eat like pretzels and tab soda. This is why I look like. But what I'm also saying is like, what would your words be for somebody like an addict or an alcoholic? Because a lot of these people, they fight that desire to drink or use. And then if they fight it and they get past that night and they do good, they can feel proud. But if they didn't and they had an excuse to go ahead and use or drink, the amount of dread and guilt that is consuming them during it and after it is so potent that why would they do that to themselves?
And I think it has a lot to do with your belief system and how you've been raised, and the way that, your relationship, our relationship with all that is our experience, right? So every single thing, like your relationship with the sun plays into your experience, your relationship with the moon, your relationship with the cold, like your relationship with all that is your experience. And so realizing that you have to redefine your relationship with that experience and realize that, listen, everything is a fine-tuning process, all right? There's no reason to judge yourself. Shit happens. Like, learn from it, move on, pivot. You choose who you want to be. If you're shaming yourself in that decision, whose life are you living for?
Good question.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times that judgment and shame comes from somebody else's belief system around that behavior, not even your own.
Oh, so they've made you feel like that.
Made you feel like that. I have a girlfriend who literally, like, when she hangs out with me, she does not judge herself. When she goes home, she can do the same activity, and it is a totally different story.
Isn't that weird? We need to be better to ourselves. Yeah. I think that we really need to accept ourselves with our flaws and with our, degree of...
Well, and I'm glad you just said that word, because what people need to realize is on the very, 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 very core of this experience, it's holographic. We are divine reflections of Mother Nature, meaning we are cosmically flawless by design. So it's also a belief system that we are broken when you are not. You are flawless by design on the very, very bottom.
Cut it out.
On the very bottom, you are flawless.
I love that.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful way to end this. We've been here an hour. Can you believe it?
Has it already been an hour?
Yes. I want to come back with you, and I want to talk about maybe art through therapy, and because this has been such a great experience through the mindful thoughts of just advancing the stages of how you feel and see yourself. And we all have that power to do that. I know that we might not have entities coming into our room and saying, they're coming, but there are little clues that we have within our lives, within ourselves, within our minds, and our self-consciousness that give us these little tidbits of control, of power, and of keeping our selves.
I'll give you a copy of my book. So the thing is,
book. You have a book.
I do.
She's also an author. We have to bring her back. We're going to have like Torie chapters.
Yeah, that's fine. But the whole point is if you look back on, I want you to look back on your life and look at all the skill sets you have and the perspectives you have and this repertoire of, skills that you can bring to the table, right? I love entertainment. So going to a private art school where there was film, I can perceive entertainment and see the difference between art, entertainment, and real life, which is super, super helpful because I can tell that that's super theatrical and that's dramatic and that's sarcasm and that's not a playbook for life. And being able to determine that is huge. Huge. So to be like, well, that is, a scope of entertainment and a narrative for entertainment. I've never had that experience in real life. And I say that a lot because it's important to declare that's an idea, that's a concept, that's a belief. I've never had that experience in real life. I do not know that happens in real life.
Wow.
And that's powerful.
Do you doubt yourself ever? Like ever?
It's not doubt. It's sifting through the options. perceive everything
God, I
as
love
such.
I know. I'm like, okay, now.
It's organization. Here's the thing. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a rush. I know that all is infinite and that there's nothing to rush or hurry about. And so I am slow and steady, swift and conscious. And so if there are it's taken me 8 years to get here in my brand and I don't have a business yet. Like, because I'm sifting through the
imagine
details.
when you do.
I know. But also the thing is I'm not willing to pick one thing. I like a gajillion things. So guess what? My brand is going to have a gajillion things because I want to do everything that I want to do. And I don't want to leave anything on the table. So if that takes me 15
I know you
years,
guys are like,
if that takes me 15 years to figure out how that jigsaw puzzle goes together, I don't care.
wow. Man, you're an amazing human being. I mean, my whole energy has been attached.
Wait, are you gonna do Liz's energy?
No. Do you want to?
I want to do something different with you.
Oh,
All
okay,
right.
yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, here we go.
Because you're more rooted. I know.
I'm
But I
not
know I
rude.
want to do something different with you. Not
Okay.
here.
Not here, a different
This
time.
is different.
Ha! See that? I'm an enigma! Well, we will do that. I would love to try that.
Yeah.
And I would also, because I feel like when you can do something like that with somebody, they can understand
I would like
themselves
you.
a
I would
little
like to
better.
take you to lay in like a field of grass.
Ooh, lay.
Yeah, there's some people that are the Mother Nature, like
Well,
we're
nature's
reflections
my
of that.
jam.
Okay,
You
yes.
knew
Like
that,
music
didn't
for
you?
you. Nature.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I witness nature all the time. If you want to learn anything, ask the universe, witness nature. Like
Yeah.
that is basically what I've done my entire life. Perceive your organic ways of operating.
Trees make me cry sometimes.
Oh, have you ever watched a tree breathe? It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I feel them breathe.
yeah.
This
I
is
hug
the weird
them.
part about me. I like to ground. I like to earth.
Yeah.
Earthing is when
So
you
wait
take your
until
shoes
you
off
meet
and you
Miss
stand
Athena.
by the roots.
Yeah.
Of
Oh
the
yeah.
tree, and you can literally feel it.
Oh yeah. They have their own personalities.
Oh,
So Miss Athena, she's 4 years old. I think she was 2.5 when this happened. She walked
Is
down
this your daughter?
Yeah, my youngest daughter. She walks down the stairs and she goes, "Mom, I want to hug that tree." She just walks over there and hugs the
it's
tree.
the cutest.
I was like, "Go for it,
Well,
girl."
we all know that the apple didn't fall too far from that tree.
Yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
That's the perfect way to say that. I can't thank you enough for being here. We
Yeah.
have so much more to dive into.
I know.
And I mean, we just tapped the surface with
Yeah.
you, and I'm glad that we've got a chance to. You've just moved back to the community.
I
So
did.
we
This is my
wanted to
home.
reintroduce you
Yeah.
back, and I know that your husband's a great DJ, Jamie, and he's
Yeah.
really fun, and so. You combine all the goodness in life,
Yep.
and then you bring it, and then you spread it.
I know, that's what I want
like
to
a
talk to you. I want to
seed.
start my own radio show.
Oh,
I would like to do
How about a podcast?
I could start a new one. Yes.
Yeah.
I had one, but it was not. It was more about speaking in a universal language and explaining what I was doing, not so much being. I just want to show up and be myself.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
knew that was going to take time because of the experience that I had
Sure.
online and realizing that people really do need to get to know me so that they can receive what I have to say
Absolutely.
accurately.
Right.
And for me, accurate. I'm not here to
and they
just talk
can't
out of
be
my face.
closed-minded.
No. Well, and that's the thing is I'm not here to just talk out of my face. I really want what I have to say to
Resonate.
germinate.
Germinate. I understand.
Yeah.
I really do. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight.
Okay,
folks.
cool.
This is not for, we are bringing you back. You are an amazing soul. Your
you.
presence has been having me tingle all day.
Woohoo.
And this is Torie Smith, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
The Empathic Gangster. You can
Yes.
find her on Instagram and you can find her on Facebook. And then...
EmpathicGangster.com is my
Empathic
website
Gangster.
/blog. I basically do announcement articles that keep you guys up to date on the things I'm experiencing.
Nice.
You can read about my awakening experience that we talked about today about when source frequency came
A banging on her door.
crashing through my ceiling.
That's crazy.
it was
That's
super
all
crazy.
insane. And I give people links and things so they can learn more about you so they can really, really get into this.
Yeah, so empathic.gangster on Instagram, empathicgangster.com for my website. You can literally just Google Empathic Gangster
Yeah.
and you will find all of my things.
Right. And what's the book?
It's called Stop Selling, Watch Your Sales Skyrocket, the Elite Sales Guidebook. So I realized that you don't need to sell anything. All you need to do is show up and be yourself and have fun, know your product. And as long as it's organic and genuine, it sells itself. I worked at a high-end luxury boutique here in Vail, and all of my all of my clients were millionaires and billionaires and celebrities and athletes, so they don't need anything.
No.
And
But love.
But so that taught me a lot about how do you sell something that nobody needs, and it's not about selling anything. It's about having a good time. It's
Yeah.
about creating memories. It's about jumping down these adventure rabbit holes. It's about creating nostalgia. It's dress up. It's play.
And being true to yourself, and stop. One piece of advice is
Yeah.
stop listening to everybody else and following along with what all the other people think that you should be doing. You stay authentic and feel good about what you're doing and what you're experiencing and
Yes.
what you're saying to other people, and the way you portray yourself.
Well, your life should be a reflection of your soul, right? And your
Exactly.
business should be a reflection of your
Exactly.
soul. And that's what happened. How I ended up in like this crazy channel, besides what I described today, is I was online walking through business industry, and it got to the point where I was like, speak for yourself. Oh, gross. No thanks. That's your own personal belief system. And they're selling it as facts.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well,
no, thank you.
You should stay off the internet for the rest of your life.
I
That's all I have to say.
I do
Or we
my
should
best.
start a page where we get everybody to come and join in and
Yeah.
just be equal.
Yes.
We guys,
I love it.
I wish we could go all day, but we're going to have Torie Chapters here.
Yeah.
This is Torie Smith,
Yeah.
the empathic gangster who has
Thank
just
you.
really brought to light so many intriguing things. Do you have any final words for us?
No, what did you just say? You just said you have to live the life of your soul.
Yeah, so you have to live a life that's a direct reflection of your soul.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want that
It
like,
is.
on
It's
a bumper
special.
sticker.
When
Yeah,
I was
that
building
is
this
just beautiful.
brand, I was like, I want it to be a direct reflection of my soul, and I want it to be a reflection of my organic ways of operating, so it never feels like work and always feels like play.
I love that.
All I have
love
to do is
that
show up and
too.
be myself. The systems are there. All I gotta do is be me.
Well, there you have it. That's
my big
about as
takeaway.
easy as we can end this.
Perfect.
Always be the essential self, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Chat Box Vail, coming to you from High Five Access Media. I'm Liz, this is Jen, and our special guest, Torie Smith, the empathic gangster, and the pirate father. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful time, and always keep your minds open for all of the ways that we can all help each other connect
And your
and stay
hearts.
healthy,
Yes.
and in our
Love you.
hearts. We're the Chat Box Live, everybody!
We have a fan club now.